and styrene fanatics, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing fine and enjoying the hobby. My name is George and today's Concrete Bunker broadcast is for an update to my post-apocalyptic build. So without further ado, let's jump in and see what I have done so far. And here it is. So far I have managed to finish a big portion of the engine and chassis. Before I give you more details about how I made it this far, my friends, I have to tell you that this kit is missing a lot of parts, big and small. So a lot of scratch building and box part raid is included. Let's start from the engine first. Last time you've seen it, I've managed to repaint it and detail paint some parts like the valve cover, the radiator hoses, and the starter motor. Then I have removed the intake manifold, repainted it and repositioned it. I moved on to the exhaust system, in which I have re-glued and drilled the pipes, and also I have extended one of them using a Q-tip. Then I continued to the opposite side of the engine block, where there was the first two parts that were missing. These parts were this one, give me a moment, this one, and the other one is this one. Those parts are probably, the first one is the fuel distributor, and the second part is one of the radiator hoses. So for the fuel distributor, I have cut a piece of sprue that was T-shaped, filed it down and drilled some holes for the fuel lines, which I made using some electrical wires. After that, I have painted and glued the assembly to the engine block. For the radiator hose now, I tried to do the same thing with some weirdly shaped sprue piece again, but it didn't work good enough. Then I took my first dive to the parts bin, where I have found the stock exhaust from my initial D Mazda RX-7 FC3S. So I cut the middle part and sanded it down to size, fiddled a bit with the positioning, and boom, glued it to place. After all this, I have left the engine aside to cure for a moment, and then moved on to the chassis. My first move was to prime and paint the whole thing black. I then detail painted the front and rear diffs and axles, and the radiator. I have then mounted the engine on its final position. At this moment, the adventure of the steering system begins, mainly because all of the original parts from it are missing. So once again, I dive into the parts box, and again the same Aosima Mazda saves the day. I took a steering rack and a set of wheel hubs, dry fitted the parts. I realized that the steering rack was about 7 mm longer, so I have cut a piece from the middle and glued it again together. But again, the assembly was flimsy and couldn't hold together without adding some upper control arms. This one and this one. So again, a piece of sprue came to the rescue, which I cut it and sanded to size, and I drilled a hole to fill the wheel hub. Then I placed the assembly to the original position, but I had to glue everything together to make it sturdier. Now it can only drive straight, but I'm okay with this. And we made it up to the last part of today's update by moving to the rear end of the chassis. Here I was a bit lucky because the only parts that I was missing were the half of the drive axle and a piece of the rear tube frame. As you can see, the right side has this piece and the left one misses it. I addressed the axle thing by taking half of the RX-7 axle and the other half from the original kit, cutting both of them and making a new one which I glued to a close enough position. Unfortunately, I couldn't come up with a piece for the rear tube frame, so I left it as it was. Finally, I have painted and glued the rear subframe to position. That was everything that I have up to this point. My next step is probably to move on with the interior tab and some other parts of the frame, but that's for the next update. I hope I didn't bore you with my babbling of what I have done so far and that you find this build as interesting and fascinating as I do. I wanna thank every and each one of you guys for watching and making it up to this point. Please let me know your opinion and thoughts for this build to the comment section below. If you liked this video, you know what to do. Until the next time, fellow modelers, take care and model on. It was that Mofo Damon, signing out.